You are not at war with your boss. You are not at war with your partner. You are not even at war with your circumstances. You are at war with yourself. There is a version of you that knows exactly what the right decision is. And there is another version, louder, more insistent, that keeps pulling you back toward comfort, toward safety, toward the familiar. And you lie awake at night, not because you don't know the answer, but because you're terrified of the cost of choosing it. Think about the last time you truly froze. A decision you kept delaying, a conversation you kept avoiding, a choice that required you to disappoint someone or yourself. That paralysis has a name. It was documented 5,000 years ago by a warrior who had every weapon, every ally, every advantage, and still could not move. His name was Arjuna, and the war he was fighting was never really about the battlefield in front of him. The Bhagavad Gita, one of the most psychologically sophisticated texts ever written, does not open with wisdom. It does not open with peace. It opens with a question asked by a blind king on the edge of the worst decision of his life. And hidden inside that single question, 7 words spoken in the dark, is a blueprint for understanding every conflict that has ever divided human beings from each other and from themselves. Dhritarashtra was born blind. He never saw the kingdom he ruled. He never saw the sons he loved. He never saw the war he helped create. And yet, he is the first person to speak in the Bhagavad Gita. The question he asks Sanjaya, his advisor who has been granted divine vision, is this: on the sacred field of Kurukshetra, what did my people and the Pandavas do? Notice something. He calls Kurukshetra a Dharma Kshetra, a field of Dharma, of sacred duty. He acknowledges the moral weight of the moment, and then, in the very next breath, he uses the word Mamaka, mine, my sons, my side, my people. That word, mine, is one of the most dangerous words in the human psychological vocabulary. The moment you say mine, my team, my family, my country, my opinion, your brain does something automatic and almost irreversible. It activates what psychologists call in-group bias. The neural circuits that process threats suddenly start including everyone on the other side of that line. They are no longer just different from you, they are a threat to you. And this is precisely what happened to Dhritarashtra. He was a king who sat on a throne of Dharma, of moral duty, but the moment his son's inheritance was threatened, every principle dissolved. His world shrank to 2 categories: Mamaka, mine, and everyone else. Dhritarashtra was physically blind, but the Gita is making a far deeper point. His real blindness was not in his eyes. It was in his inability to see past the word mine. Here is what the Gita is forcing you to see. Through this one word, every war ever fought in human history, every broken relationship, every destroyed partnership, every sleepless night of resentment can be traced back to someone, somewhere, saying, mine. The Kauravas and Pandavas went to war over land. The commentary tells us that Duryodhana refused to surrender a piece of land the size of a needle's point. A needle's point. And for that, 100,000 people died. Now, look at your own life. The thing you are gripping so tightly right now. The opinion you refuse to release. The position you won't surrender. The identity you're protecting at the cost of your own peace. How big is it, really, on the scale of your entire life? How big is it on the scale of a universe that has been running for 13.8 billion years? The Gita is not asking you to stop caring. It is asking you to see clearly, before you draw that line, exactly what you are willing to pay to defend it. Now, look at the other person in this conversation. Sanjaya. Sanjaya is not a warrior. He is not a king. He has no side in this war. he has been given one gift: the ability to see everything exactly as it is, without the filter of mine and theirs. And that single ability to see without the distortion of ego makes him the most powerful person in the entire opening of the Gita. Not because he has weapons, but because he has clarity. Modern psychology has a name for what Sanjaya represents. It's called the observing self, the part of your consciousness that can watch your own thoughts without becoming them, the part that can be in the middle of a conflict and still ask, what is actually happening here? What is true, separate from what I want to be true? Most people never access this part of themselves, because accessing it requires letting go of mine. Think about the last conflict that genuinely hurt you. Not a minor disagreement, a real one. The kind where you replayed the conversation for days afterward. Now ask yourself, with complete honesty, at what point in that conflict did you stop trying to understand the other person and start building a case against them? Because that is the exact moment you stopped being Sanjaya and became Dhritarashtra. The moment your mind stopped saying, what is true, and started saying, how do I win? That shift happens in milliseconds. The brain makes it automatically because the brain's primary job is to protect your survival. And somewhere deep in our evolutionary wiring, being wrong still feels like dying. But here is what the Gita reveals through this single verse. The greatest threat to your survival is not the person on the other side of the conflict. It is the blindness created by the word mine. Dhritarashtra knew intellectually that this war was wrong. The commentary is explicit about this. He understood Dharma. He could articulate it perfectly, and yet he let it happen. He watched his son refuse a compromise that could have prevented everything. Why? Because knowing what is right and being able to act on it are two completely different things when your identity is tied to an outcome. This is not a character flaw unique to ancient kings. This is the most common psychological trap in human experience. We call it cognitive dissonance, the gap between what we know and what we do, between who we want to be and who we actually are, when our ego feels threatened. The Gita opens with this question, not because it has no answer, but because the question itself is the beginning of every human being's most important journey. Here is the detail that most people miss entirely about this first verse. Dhritarashtra calls Kurukshetra a Dharmakshetra, a sacred field of Dharma, before he calls it a battlefield. This is not accidental. The Gita is telling you something about the nature of every conflict you will ever face, every real conflict in your life, every impossible choice, every relationship under strain. Every moment where your values collide with your desires is a Dharmakshetra. It is a field where who you actually are gets tested against who you claim to be. The external conflict is never the real battlefield. It is just the arena. The real war is always the one inside, between your highest understanding and your most primitive fears. The Gita does not ask you to stop caring about the people on your side. It does not ask you to be a pushover. It does not ask you to pretend that conflict doesn't exist. It asks you to do something far more difficult. It asks you to hold your position and your perspective while simultaneously being willing to see from where the other person is standing. In neuroscience, this capacity is called cognitive flexibility, the ability to hold multiple perspectives without collapsing into any one of them. It is, according to decades of research, the single most reliable predictor of both emotional intelligence and strategic decision-making. 5,000 years ago, the Gita called it moving from mamaka, mine, to dharma, what is actually right, not what benefits me, what is actually, genuinely true. So how do you actually practice this? Not philosophically, practically, in a real moment of conflict. The moment you feel the word mine activating, the moment you feel the impulse to defend, to attack, to win, pause for exactly 10 seconds. Not to suppress the feeling, to observe it. Ask yourself 3 questions. What do I actually want from this situation? What does the other person actually need? And the hardest one, what would I think about this in 5 years? This is the Sanjaya practice. Stepping out of the war for 10 seconds, not to abandon your position, but to see the field clearly before you decide how to move on it. Dhritarashtra never asked Sanjaya what was right. He only asked what his people did. The question you ask determines the answer you receive, and the answer you receive determines the life you build. Every conflict you are currently navigating, the decision you can't make, the relationship under strain, the choice that keeps you awake, is your Dharmakshetra. It is not punishment. It is not evidence that something has gone wrong with your life. It is the field where your actual character gets built. And just like Kurukshetra, the outcome matters far less than the quality of mind you bring to it. Dhritarashtra's tragedy was not that he was blind, it was that he could have seen and chose not to. He had Sanjaya right beside him. The clarity was available. He just never asked the right question. You have the same choice in every conflict of your life. You can ask, how do I win? Or you can ask, what is actually true here? The first question makes you Dhritarashtra. The second makes you Sanjaya. 3 things to carry into your next conflict. 1. Catch the word mine. The moment you feel yourself drawing a line between your side and theirs, name it. You don't have to release it immediately, just see it. Seeing it is already the beginning of freedom. 2. Find your Sanjaya. There is always someone in your life who sees the situation clearly because they have no side in it. Before you react, ask them what they see. 3. Change your question. Stop asking, how do I win this? Start asking, what would the best version of me do here? That shift alone will change the outcome more than any strategy you could ever devise. Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya one question, and it unleashed 700 verses of the most precise psychological wisdom ever recorded. The entire Bhagavad Gita exists because one man refused to examine his own blindness. You are not that man. The fact that you are asking these questions about your own mind, your own conflicts, your own patterns, means you have already done something Dhritarashtra never managed to do. You have chosen to see.